Hi everyone, LazyFire here. Welcome back to Shadow of Mordor. Today we're going to talk about the Nemesis system a little bit, and it's going to be more of an explanation video rather than a big action video, but I'm still going to fight some guys. There's no one there. So the Nemesis system is one of those things that got a lot of attention about this game, and rightfully so. It's a really interesting, innovative system. It's a good way to keep an open world fresh even after you've done pretty much everything that you could normally do. Let's talk really quickly about how you parse the Nemesis system, however. This is the Sauron's army board, or as I like to call it, the orc board. Ha ha ha, puns. Anyways, the orc board here gives you a layout. It's sort of, I like to think of it as a 2D map of a 3D object. You get a pretty good idea of how the board is arrayed and how everything works from here, but it's a bit more complex than you'd think. So for example, this guy's a really good person to look at. He's got a feud going on with that guy on the far left there with the red line going to him, and he's a bodyguard of the guy at the pedestal there at the top, one of the war chiefs. If we take a look at him, you can see he has a couple weaknesses and a bunch of strengths. Now, as these guys go through levels, and it's not always universal, by the way, how many strengths and weaknesses they have per level. So for example, once again, 2 here, bunch of strengths. Go to this guy, 2, bunch of strengths. He's a level 17 versus this guy's level 11. He's level 17 mostly because I put a death threat against him, however. So it's a little bit different, I would say. We're actually going to go ahead and mark this fellow. We're going to go to the mission he's part of, the event. Now, the guys on that board, the various orcs, the captains and the war chiefs and everything, they have quite a few different quirks and abilities and so on that can come up as random factors. So you're never going to really face the same guy twice, though there are certain things that do end up being seen together quite a bit. So I can't really fault the game for a couple of those moments. Come here, we need to talk.
Do not!
This is a worm. I've mentioned these guys before, but these are how you get intel on your various bosses in the world. These guys here. And you can see from the board there's a couple different statuses you can have. I'm actually missing one, but you can have the standing mode, which means he's available, and if he's got the little thing over his head, it means that he's in a mission at the moment. If they're laying down like this, it means they're incapacitated, but they can come back as long as you give them some time. If they're blacked out like this, it means that you don't have any intel on them and you need to find somebody to tell you intel. And if they are not there at all, I have no idea, I've never seen that before. But there's another one where a guy's head will appear on a spike, and that means that they're completely dead and will be replaced the next board shuffle, so to speak. So, we're going to grab this guy. Just like in the first video. Just go in, you can see all this stuff, and once again, look at all this stuff he has, and he's only level 12. Seems unfair, doesn't it? We're going to get rid of this guy, we don't really need him. We're going to run to that mission. Now, these missions, I like to call them events, are going to be scattered throughout the world, and it's going to involve one or more orcs going into something, either fighting each other or something like that. Now, normally orcs, hold on, we're going to go back into the screen. Normally orcs can be found all over the map. Let's find one who's not in an event, and maybe we can talk about that here. So you can see there's that green area on the map on the upper right there. That means you could go there and find him. You can actually mark him so you can find him easier. And you can go fight him at any time and get the rune he would drop normally. It's actually really cool to have the ability to kind of go do that. I like to think of it almost like the dragons in Skyrim, where they were, you know, flying around the map and they served as sort of random bosses, right? That's kind of what these guys are, though they're generally a little bit weaker than you'd think. So it's hard to just say that they're the same thing as dragons, but they're interesting. Like the dragons, these guys are also basically infinite. You'll fight them forever. If you kill one, they'll be replaced. So don't worry about knocking out one or two. What I really want to see done with the LP is people deciding how we want to approach individual orcs in the board. I've gone and filled out the board by the time of the second episode, so you'll be able to make some pretty decent decisions on how you want to see things done. Now, we're going to start an event. Like I said, these things are going to be pretty important. You can see you get power for completing these things, and you can see that this is going to be a pretty hard one for the guy in blue. The guy in blue is actually one of my guys. Later in the game, you get the ability to brand and control orcs. So we want to keep him alive if possible, and we want the other guy to die.
Pluck out your eyes and make you weep blood! Stop talking! Time to kill each other now!
So you can decide how you want to approach events. I believe this guy is actually invulnerable too. Yep, okay. So let's take a look here.
Mugrish.
I love this stuff. Poison weapons. Not a bad thing to have. This guy.
Zoom.
Well, this will be fun. Let's go get him. We're gonna involve ourselves in this event. We want our guy to win, obviously. So we can just come in here. Stab, stab, stab.
Mouth elf! Talk, promise, make me beg! Never beg! Never surrender!
Yes, I have a death threat on him. We'll just finish him off real quick.
Kill the traitor! Idiot!
Goodbye. Down he goes. Duel's resolved. His power level doesn't change or go down or anything like that. He just dies. The other guy's power increases. If you succeed in the mission, or if an orc succeeds in a mission, his power level will increase by 1. It's a pretty slow way of getting them up. The faster way is to actually death threat the hell.
How many do you command in death?
But level 19 rune. That is a pretty nice rune, all things told. And now my guy, because we've finished with this, he's on the board. I can go grab him whenever I want. Actually, this guy is a worm too, so we're going to dominate him even though he's already dominated. And gain intel. Zog the Black. Alright. Now, we're going to dismiss him instead of killing him because he is our friend.
Never know where you go.
And we're going to take a quick look back at the board. The guy this dude just fought is just down on the ground. I didn't take off his head, which is generally how you full-on kill these guys. But he's down for now. He'll be evac eventually. Hopefully. As long as I don't die, or past time, he'll be back.
Follow me!
The reason I say as long as I don't die is because dying is a pretty common part of this game. Maybe. If you're bad.
I see you!
For a good player, dying is kind of rare. And so it's not hard to just basically control this board, which is kind of what I want out of everybody. I want to hear, do you want me to go to events? Do you want me to go fight people? Do you want me to help one guy over another? Do you want me to kill somebody at low level? How do you want me to approach the Nemesis system? And that's really what I want. You can also send death threats at a point in this game, which is something I'd really like to get the thread involved in doing, because it will increase our enemies' levels by 5 points every time we do it. So it's really worth our time to send death threats out and be able to fight based on this.
We're too tough for him.
Oops. Oops. I didn't realize he was in range. Oh no. Well, oh boy. Let's take a look at the army screen. And look, there's that thing I was talking about where his head shows up on a spike and what? I blew up his head, so now he's dead. My mistake. Later in the game, I will really be asking people to give me a rough idea of how they'd like me to approach things like, oh, hold on, like branding, who they want me to brand.
Just like I said.
And that sort of thing. So, you know, think about that. What we're going to do is we're going to really be looking for some input in the thread, and I just want to hear how people want to approach things. So, let me know. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the main videos. Bye.